Hi, my name is JerryWalseth. I'm a retired school district superintendent from Brainerd. I started in 1999 and retired in July of 2008. And this is the story that I wanted to share with you about advancing technology in this community and this school district. I want to start the story when I first arrived in this community. It was in 1999 as the new superintendent of the Brainerd School District. Very early in my arrival, I had an invitation from the Chamber of Commerce to attend a leadership training and conference. And it was designed to bring the new people, leadership positions in business and public arenas together, and to provide a format in which they could communicate along with developing some skills and understanding our community and meeting people of the business community as well as other public leaders. In the process of that, the new county administrator at that time, Peter Halofsky, was one of those. Kevin Larson from CTC as a new exec there was a member, and several other prominent business community members. One of the trainings centered on, very early on, it centered on the black hole of technology in this area. It was a technology summit, and it was set up by the Chamber of Commerce and BLADOC, which is Brainerd Lakes Area Development Corporation. Leadership was provided by Sheila Camp and Lisa Paxton. And it was designed to take a look at where we were in the world of technology and where we needed to be, and therefore what we needed to do to be able to compete in this new world of technology. What we found out is, in that summit, is that we weren't positioned very well in the Brainerd Lakes area. We didn't have any technology provider competition. The demand, according to the providers, wasn't extremely high, so there wasn't necessarily a motivation for them to provide additional technology support or assistance in this community. Then another aspect very early on was a monthly meeting that we set up among all of the county leadership and the city leadership and the other public entities in the Brainerd Lakes area. We would meet on a monthly basis just for lunch and just sit around and talk informally. So the city manager of Brainerd, Baxter, the hospital administrator, the county exec, and a variety of other folks would show up, and we would just make sure that we got to know one another, know one another's issues, begin to try to understand the impacts that we had on one another in using resources. In the process of those discussions, I brought up that our board was beginning to look at a facility needs assessment for the school district. And that after a great deal of due diligence, that the board was thinking about putting together a bond proposal for the community. And within that, in late 2001, the board arrived at a final conclusion that it would indeed present a bond levied to the community, and it would be designed to build a new middle school. It would refurbish the high school and other existing elementaries, and then a portion of it was set aside to support technology in the school district. In the wisdom of the board, the important part of the technology aspect was making sure that all of our schools were connected to high speed. We had T1 lines, and it was a very early movement in the district. We were really highly advanced in the use of email, but not much else. And not too successfully, I might add, at email. In early 2002, the board set the election date in March, and the community supported that bond by a very narrow margin, I might add. But because of that, it changed the face of this community in a variety of ways, both intended and unintended. One of the ways that it changed it initially was put into an RFP, a request for proposal for technology-associated companies to respond to our proposal to lay out a fiber network connecting all of our schools. And we wanted a partnership in this, in that we wanted some kind of maintenance agreement from that technology company. And then there was a variety of other aspects. In the process, a very large technology company received their proposal was accepted by the board, and we started the early discussions about what that would mean, what the relationship was, what we wanted out of it. We had worked out a great many details when they moved it on, the proposal on up the corporate ladder until it got to an office outside of the state of Minnesota, at which point that office informed our local folks that this proposal as written was unacceptable, that they buried fiber, and that's all they did. They didn't do anything else. So if we wanted to bury fiber, they were the one, and if we didn't want to bury the fiber, they were not the one. So we then, in the wisdom of the board, went back out for another proposal. Well, thinking about that leadership conference or leadership academy and those connections, one of the relationships that was started was with Kevin Larson from CTC. So he sat down informally to listen to us about what we were trying to accomplish. And after that, and meeting with staff and the board with CTC, et cetera, responded to our request for proposal. And we accepted. And it was a start of a unique partnership. And some of the high points from the school district perspective were that between 30 and 40 miles of fiber cable would be laid by CTC. CTC would provide a long-term maintenance of that fiber. So if anything happened to it, or any road construction required movement of that line or something, CTC would pick that up. But then we responded by saying, you know, as long as the hole is there, you can lay as much fiber on top of that hole as you want. And then we have another request, and that is that we be allowed to sell parts of that, our fiber network, to public entities, and that CTC then would sell to the private sector. We obviously, the devil in the details, we kind of figured out what that meant to both of us, and we agreed to terms along that line. Well, as we did that, we began to bring on board then the other public entities into ownership of this network. And that meant the county, all of Crow Wing County, the hospital at that time, which was Brainerd Medical and St. Joe's Hospital, which is now Essentia. We brought on the city of Baxter, and along with the city of Brainerd, and we connected each of our schools to the fiber ring. We also talked about the possibility in making those partnerships about what it might mean for them, the partners. And we had talked about, wouldn't it be interesting if the hospital could share electronic data on their line? Wouldn't it be interesting if police could actually have computers in their car and communicate across authorized lines, such as the county with the cities and the cities with each other? And sure enough, all of that came to pass. If you look in a police car today, the computers are there. Electronic health records are a part of this community. So those are some of the spin-offs. But one of the greatest spin-offs from the standpoint of the community is we went from this technological black hole of not really having a lot of technology available to our community, both in intellectual capacity as well as hardware capacity. The intellectual capacity, because of the work that CTC has done in providing to the private sector and of developing this fiber network throughout our community, has brought a plethora of technology literate people into the community and has provided a wonderful resource for us, which is now a strength versus a weakness in this community. And to this day then, CTC provides a great deal of outreach to the far reaches of this county and other aspects of this outer community. But the important part is, what has this done for education? In opening that door to the worldwide aspirations and understandings of cultures and events and geographics and possibilities that were far beyond the realm of just books. The only way that our folks were going to explore those opportunities in the past were either experientially or through the exposure of books. And now that exposure happens on a daily basis. Technology is a major part of our learning environment, all the way from tablets, the labs. The technology proposal provided labs for our students initially. As we know, the evolution of technology, labs kind of are going by the side, and the tablets are the primary means of communication, and the evolution is just starting. So all of this effort really has laid the foundation for a building of technology, information, and technology availability for this community for the rest of its existence. And it all started with a partnership because of personal relationships in a smaller community. We can communicate, or we can compete with Shanghai and Bangkok and New York City and the Silicon Valley, and it's all because of the vision that people in that early time, from the Board of Education to a local business, CTC, stepping on board and saying, we can do this thing. And now it is all possible. And for that, we have those who voted yes to thank. And we hope that this partnership continues and that it's used as a model to help other communities to get to where we are, where they need to be.